All right, folks, I'm coming back to you here with our third type of transformation. Today we're going to talk about rotations. I think this one is the kind of the trickiest because the other two translations and reflections you can kind of eyeball how to complete that. Rotations, you really got to know the rules and be able to apply them because I can't really myself do it without the rules and do it in my brain. There's a lot of factors that kind of weigh in and I get myself confused, so I always refer back to those rules. So that's going to be something that you're going to want to do as well. Our central question today is how can I use rotations to show congruent figures in the coordinate plane? So if you've ever danced before, you have exhibited this type of math transformation. Now, I didn't say you had to be a good dancer, but if you had to do dancing, especially if you're taking some line dancing classes, like I was currently enrolled in before the COVID, I'm just teasing. You don't have many skills. Dancing is definitely not one of them either. All right, so let's go ahead and let's define rotating or rotations. It is a transformation where a figure is turned about a fixed point. And that fixed point, we call that the center of a rotation. Usually, for what we're going to be doing, that's just the origin. All right. So we're going to be taking our ordered pair, we're going to draw a figure, and then we're going to be turning it on the coordinate plane, and keeping one corner always in contact with the origin. So I'll show you what that looks like. All right. But I have three different ways in which I can rotate. All right. Three mathematical ways. So we're going to create a little bit of a table. Let's put three types of rotations though. Rotations, not ratations. Rotation. So I'm just gonna make a little bit of a 3-column little thing here. The first way we have is a 90-degree clockwise rotation. All right, so if I have my coordinate plane here, if I'm in quadrant 1, clockwise is going to be going this way, righty-tighty. If we have 90-degree clockwise, we have a 90-degree counter clockwise rotation as well. All right, so if I'm here in quadrant 1, I'm going back the other way, lefty-loosey. And then we have 180-degree rotation. And that one doesn't matter if you're going clockwise or counterclockwise, you're getting the same way. I'm going to go from, if I start here, I'm going over here. If I start, I could go from here to here or that way. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to get to the same points. All right. But there's specific rules for us to follow to do these three types of rotations. All right. So let's say we have an example here. We'll fill in our table as we go. I'm just going to give us 2 points, A and B. Point A is at 1, 2. Point B is at 5, 4. All right, so if you have your coordinate plane, you can kind of get this handy as well. All right, so I got my coordinate plane, and then I put my figure on there. So I'm ready to go. Over 1, up 2 to get to A, over 5, up 4 to get to B, and we have our line. All right, so we want to do, on this example, let's say we're going to do a 90-degree, let's just say clockwise rotation. All right, so that tells me I want to rotate this guy from here down here, since it's a clockwise rotation. All right, so here's our rules that we need to follow. The very first thing that we need to do is we need to switch the X and Y. All right, I just straight up switch them. So for here, for our purposes here, this becomes 2, 1. B becomes 4, 5. And then we must multiply our new y by -1. So the 2 and the 4 are now the x's, the 1 and the 5 are the y's, so I'm going to multiply these both by -1. And that's going to give us our new a prime and our b prime. 2 and 4 stay the same. 1 times -1 is -1. 5 times -1 is -5. So I start here. We're doing a 90-degree clockwise rotation. So essentially, if I'm doing that on here, that corner stays on. I rotate it down, and now I can see myself at 2 -1 over 2 down 1 over 4 down 5 if I have it in the right spot. There we go. But then we have an 180-degree rotation. So let's have example 2 here. Let's go C and D. Let's make C -3, 5, and let's make D -1, 2, whatever it is. All right. So we're going to do a 180-degree rotation. This one's a pretty simple set of rules. We're not going to switch. So these are just going to stay the same. We are simply just going to multiply both x and y by -1. All right, so what that means is this turns into -3, -1 still, but it's going to be -3 times -1, -1 times -1. And then for our other points, our y's here, we have 5 times -1. Ooh, I should have made that in blue if I wanted everything to match. And then 2 times -1. And that's going to give us our C prime and our D prime. And our new point would be 3, -5, 1, -2. All right. So that's our rules for doing clockwise rotation, 180-degree rotation. Again, it doesn't matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. It is all the same. All right, we got one more example here. Example 3. Let's put this as, well, I better label this because we had a 90-degree clockwise here. This is 180-degree. And this one down here is going to be 90-degree counterclockwise, just so we are all on the up and up. Our last example, let's make it, make sure you guys are on the screen there. Yep, you can see some E and F. Let's make this -4, -2, -3, -5. Nice simple numbers to work with. All right, so hopefully you can kind of think about what our rules are when you think back to 90-degree clockwise. For doing a clockwise rotation, we switched the X and Y, so we're going to do the same thing here for a counterclockwise. We're going to switch X and Y. All right, so that's that tells me we're going to have -2, -4, -5, -3. I switched them. I just left some space in here because I know I'm going to have to do some work here. For 90-degree clockwise, we multiplied the new y by -1. So counterclockwise, we're going to multiply our new x by -1. So this turns into 2 times -1, 5 times -1. And then when I complete all of this, we have our E prime and our F prime. So our points are 2, -4, 5, -3. So make sure I'm following my rules inside of your textbook. Starting on page 479. There are plenty of examples for you to work through. I have something specific I want you to do on Google Classroom and submit that. If you don't have your book, I took a screenshot of that page so you can complete that at least. And you can just kind of type that into the section where you're going to answer your questions. A lot of us are forgetting our primes. Don't forget, the primes are showing what the new image looks like. These are over here in this left-hand column. This is the pre-image. This is going to be our new image. The new image has to have the primes to signify the changes that we have made. All right, so that's kind of what we have from there. Our movie quote for today. Our quote was, we're going to go back to 1989, and it is, "Wait till they get a load of me." If you have questions, let me know. You know where to find me. Otherwise, good luck. Have a good weekend of, I guess, still just hanging out in your house. Peace.